Hello everyone, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Nelson with this breaking news update. We do have a tornado warning that was issued about 2 minutes ago. This is for Freeborn County. It's going to run until 5:15. Same supercell we were talking about during the 4 that was producing wall clouds, that were producing some funnel clouds, and just a lot of rotation within the storm. Here's the latest from the National Weather Service. This is going to run until, again, 5:15. It looks like 4:43 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was near Geneva, or about 15 miles south of Owatonna. This storm is moving. It's kind of been fluctuating, but the storm has been moving between 25 and 30 miles an hour. We've had a couple of weather spotters out there connected with the National Weather Service, and they have been reporting some funnel clouds. We have not had any confirmation of a tornado yet. However, that does not mean that there is not one going on right now. So make sure if you are in parts of Freeborn and Steele County, in this polygon area, you need to make sure you are in your safe spot, which means a basement, the interior part of your house. If you don't have a basement, make sure you're surrounding yourself with as many walls as possible, and 2 locations you do not want to be in. You don't want to be in a car, and you don't want to be in a mobile home. So we'll get a track on this storm right now. Again, this is going to run until 5:15. And folks, I know if you're watching Jeopardy, I apologize. You might be able to watch it online, but again, we're going to have to stay on here for this tornado warning. So in this polygon area here are some of the locations that could be impacted here. And if we put a storm track, the tornado could be possibly near Geneva. These are the locations, and it looks like Freeborn County, you folks are always getting talks of spin-up tornadoes, but this is a legit storm that has history of producing a lot of rotation within the last hour and 15 minutes. So this is a long-lived, long-track supercell. Supercells are just rotating thunderstorms that can sometimes produce funnel clouds, can produce tornadoes as well. So this is kind of the look right now. Very small area for the polygon, but even if you're in Ellendale, Newry, Blooming Prairie, Corning, Hollandale, and again, this is just north right now of Albert Lee. You want to make sure you are in your safe spot. So a couple of things that I'm looking at right now, obviously besides the characteristics of a supercell, there right now is some outflow and there's some inflow. So when you get this little notch down on the southwestern side of the storm, a lot of times that can mean not only rotation, but there could be the possibility of a tornado being produced. And we were talking about, looks like it's now just north of Hollandale, but near the Geneva area, if there is a tornado going on right now or rotation, it is very close to that spot. So if you are in Geneva, you want to make sure 100% you are in your safe spot and not in a car and not in a mobile home. This storm, again, was produced, I would say, what is it right now, 4:48. So about 3:30 we were keeping an eye on this. And then again, it became tornadic just near Mankato and then continued to follow this boundary. The boundary, it looks like there's some higher dew points just to the northeast, I mean, basically in the northeastern parts of our area compared to the southwestern parts. So all this storm is going to do, it's going to find the best ingredients, it's going to find the best dynamics, and it's just going to continue to ride that. And it looks like it's going to slice right through the viewing area. You're going to notice the characteristics and the structure itself change as we get different sweeps from our Storm Tracker 3 Doppler radar. We have 5 radars going on right now intersecting the storm. And again, you can see this inflow notch. I'll take that cone off in just a second, but again, this notch in this section, we'll get storm relative velocity in just a second to look and intersect this storm to see what's going on. But if I'm looking at the storm just from basic Doppler radar knowledge, it looks like if there is a tornado, it's going to be just to the north right now of Hollandale and Newry. Again, this storm is moving at a pretty good pace right now, southeast between 25 and 30 miles an hour. Big threats, obviously, right now will be the chance for a tornado. We've had trained spotters out there. We have KIMT News 3, our meteorologist, Storm Team 3 meteorologist, Sean McAday. We just pushed him out the door. He is heading west on 90. We'll have an update from him hopefully soon. Megan, let's take a look and let's see if we can get the Skycam in Albert Lee up. We have a couple of Skycams nearby. If we can get that up to kind of look at what's going on. We pointed that camera more north, and we'll give you a bird's eye view of what it looks like outside. And this is what's going on in the atmosphere right now. There's some instability. So the sunshine is out. So if you're thinking, all right, Nelson, what's going on? It's sunny in my backyard. These storms are very isolated in nature. And when you have these isolated storms, they can become very powerful with the right ingredients. And as you're looking north, that's the storm that we're keeping a close eye on, is the supercell right now in southeastern Steele County and now northeastern Freeborn County. Again, this is tracking pretty quickly off to the southeast between 25 and 30 miles an hour. I'm going to jump off the screen, and I'm going to zoom out a bit so we can look at the storm and give it more of a track, and then we'll also look at the storm relative velocity like I was saying. So if I zoom out, I just kind of want to show you the evolution of the storm. It looks like it's moving southeast. Almost looks like storm number one, this is storm number one, is taking storm number two almost like an inflow notch here. So interesting enough, you're getting a lot of inflow. I'm mentioning inflow a lot, but the inflow is important for the warm and the moisture to try to seep into the storm to allow this tornado or this supercell to sustain itself. And if you don't have that inflow and outflow, you're not going to have the proper rotation, and it's not going to tilt right for the possibility of a tornado. It looks like we do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like this is issued for parts of Mower County. We'll dive in here and see what's going on here. So this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge and Mower County. This is what the Weather Service is saying currently. It runs until 5:45. The severe thunderstorm is located near Brownsville. At 4:49, which is 3 minutes ago, severe thunderstorm was located near Brownsville or 9 miles north of Austin. So this is a little bit different. This is a severe thunderstorm warning compared to the tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warning, those are kicked up because of two reasons. The first one could be some hail, and this storm that's producing the possibility of a tornado was producing 2.5-inch hail per our Doppler radar. And secondly, there could be some winds between 58 and even 65 miles an hour. And it looks like the main reason for this, looks like the hazard right now is quarter-size hail. So it doesn't look like the winds is what kicked off this severe thunderstorm warning. We'll put a track on this as well, but this looks like this could embark at least most of Mower County. So if you are there, 5:45 it's going to run until, and this storm has history of producing some big hail and also at least some strong winds. So I want to go back to storm number one. I know I'm counting these, but we have two different storms here. The one that has the tornado warning on. I want to look at what's called the storm relative velocity tool. And this is really important to look at for us to see how this storm is cycling and what kind of rotation is showing up. So we'll take off the warnings here. So if there is a tornado, which actually it looks like there's a pretty good signature on here, I'm going to jump onto the wall. So let me just explain again what storm relative velocity is. It's a nice tool for us to use when we're tracking tornadoes or tracking rotation. So the green, and the brighter the green goes, the faster those winds are going toward the radar. The red is the opposite way. The brighter these reds are, the stronger they are going away from the radar. So we have away and towards, and that's going to show the rotation in here. Now in this section right here, I have it zoomed in, and if you can see this, this is going to track to the southeast. That close together, what we're looking at right here, this is probably around, we'll say, 320th Street, maybe 330th Street. Probably the tightest part of this rotation is right in this spot. This is just northwest of Newry, and as this is tracking southeast, this is the part of the storm that is the most dangerous, that could be producing rotation, a funnel cloud, or potentially a tornado. So if you're in Newry and if you're in Blooming Prairie, you need to make sure you are in your safe spot. Again, this is a tornado warning, a little bit different than a watch, a little bit different than a severe thunderstorm warning. So if we had a tornado watch out, that would mean conditions are favorable for tornadoes. We don't have a watch out right now. We have a warning, which means this is imminent. This is going on right now, and you need to seek shelter. The severe thunderstorm warning, a little bit different, still severe, but not as, obviously, we're looking at this one as being a little bit more important because of the threat of the possibility of a tornado. So looks like this is moving just a little bit. You can see the cycling. Again, we have all 5 radars going up, the cycling taking place. There goes another sweep. So this little structure itself, as you see it on radar, is going to change a lot. Again, this storm is moving between 25 and 30 miles an hour. So this is going to go through Newry very, very soon. And then we'll zoom out. So I'm going to jump off again so you can see where the storm is heading. And we'll look at the structure, too, of the storm. So it was near Geneva. Now, if we look, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So these are the communities that eventually could be around that rotating part of that storm. Now, this isn't the whole storm. This is the part of the storm that I'm most concerned about that's showing rotation within this section of the supercell. So obviously I mentioned Newry. I mean, this is right on your doorstep. So if you are watching from Newry, you absolutely need to be in your safe spot. That's at 5 o'clock, it's saying, but I mean, it's right there. Corning is next. If you're looking at our track, this is going to the southeast. I'll pop my pointer out. Looks like it's going to Corning then. And there's some smaller communities in here. And then Lansing. And the potential is there, depending upon how this storm steers, the storm motion, and which way the storm wants to go, depending upon the dynamics in the lower parts of the atmosphere. This could, at some point, hit Austin. And remember, this is at 4:55, so if you're looking at Austin, you still have some time. That's the best part about using these tools. I mean, if a lot of you listening, maybe you're around 15, 20, 30 years ago, lead times for tornadoes we were lucky if we had lead times. A lot of times what would happen is the tornado would strike, we would see damage, people would call in and say, all right, I saw a tornado. The tornado warning would be spurred or it'd be brought up, and then by then the tornado's gone. And this kind of environment for us in 2019, it's amazing because we have these different tools that we can actually look at and say, all right, there's some rotation, let's kick up a tornado warning. So we're giving you a lot of lead time with this storm. And I know this is not including everyone in the viewing area, and I'm sure there's some people that are upset about that, that we're on air. But it's my duty, and it's the duty of KIMT, that if there is a tornado warning in our viewing area, it doesn't matter if it's in northeastern corner of Freeborn County, it doesn't matter if it's in the southeastern part of Howard County or Olmsted County. We are going to stay on air until this tornado warning is done with. Let's look at the structure. I want to kind of show you, we'll give you a 3D look of what the storm looks like. And we'll do that by using this 3D tool. Let's see here. And by the way, I'm doing this live, so it's, all right. So what this is going to show is how high in the atmosphere this storm is going. So this right now is showing the 3D look. We're basically taking a dissection right into the storm, and then we're lifting it up based on what the radar is looking at, and it's giving us a 3D image. Here is probably where not only the strongest part of the storm, obviously in rotation, but this pink shading is showing probably how high that hail is going. That hail core could be going maybe 30, even 35,000 feet. So when you're getting hail that's getting lofted up in the atmosphere that high and for that long, you're getting basically a snowball effect. So imagine a small snowball, and you roll it in the snow, and you keep rolling it for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 yards. What happens to that snowball? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The same thing with this hail. As it gets lofted in the atmosphere, it goes higher and higher and higher, and so on and so forth. It's going to interact with more moisture, other hailstones, and if it can get up this high with strong enough winds, it's going to produce very, very large hail. And just in parts of Waseca County and also Steele County, there were some reports, especially Doppler radar indicated reports, of hail getting about the size of almost baseball size. So that is, I mean, if you get to quarter-size hail, that's big enough to cause damage to yourself and to property. That's about 1-inch hail, and that's what stirs up the severe thunderstorm warnings. But we're talking about 2.5-inch hail potentially with some of these storms. So I just kind of wanted to show you the dissection of this, and it looks like there's another storm trying to be brought up here. So we'll zoom out. We'll take a look at what's going on overall in the atmosphere. We'll zoom out here. We'll put on all the warnings. We'll kind of regroup here. So if you're just joining us, looks like we're coming on to the 5 o'clock hour. Usually we have the 5 o'clock news going on right now. We are going to stay right now with weather currently because of the tornado warning that continues for another 15 minutes. And it's just for a small section right now of the KIMT viewing area, and it looks like right now it's just for the northeastern parts right now of Freeborn County. Let's look at a couple of sky cams if we can. First things first, let's look at Albert Lee if we can take a nice little vantage point of that. We have several sky cams, eye in the skies, that we're going to show you. We'll start with Albert Lee, then we can do Mason City. So there looks like there's at least part of that storm, and it looks like it's trying to move somewhat quickly. We were pointing it more north. Now it looks like that storm is tracking more north and east of Albert Lee. I'm curious to see what Mason City looks like. And doesn't look like we can see anything quite out in the distance. There's nothing going on in terms of strong or severe thunderstorms in Mason City. And we do have Sean. Okay, so let's see if we can go out to Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. He's in our Storm Tracker 3 right now. He's heading on I-90. Sean, what are you seeing?
Thanks, Chris. Right now, right over me is an anvil cloud from the storm that we're watching. I mean, it spans the whole sky, so you can know that two things. One, there's a lot of wind because all the air that's reaching the top of the atmosphere is being blown all the way across the sky, and all that wind is really good for tornadoes. And the other thing we know is that this storm has so much energy that it can expel all these clouds. I mean, this is quite the storm. I'm on 990 right now chasing it, so I'm on the way.
Thank you, Sean. We'll get back to him. I know it was a little tough to hear. Hopefully we can fix that. He is heading on I-90. He's getting close to Austin. He was talking about some of those, you can actually see the anvil. So what's happening in the sky is you get some of these updrafts that go really, really high in the sky, and we call that overshooting top clouds. So they're going to go really high in the sky. They can no longer go anymore because they hit a certain point, and then they flow out. It's almost like water spewing all over the place. And that's what those clouds do, and they condense and they form clouds. So as you're looking from Sean's point of view, some of those clouds almost look like higher, thin clouds. That was part of the anvil. So this is a really well-structured storm. And again, it's been able to hold itself together for several counties, and it looks like it's going right into the heart of our area. And we obviously have that tornado warning that continues to be issued here. So let's look at that, see what, if anything has changed in regards to the tornado warning from the National Weather Service. So this just popped up about 5 minutes ago. So it looks like it's just for Freeborn County, no longer for Steele County. So the latest is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Blooming Prairie, or 12 miles northwest of Austin. So this storm is moving at about 25 to 30 miles an hour southeast. It's about 12 miles northwest of Austin. This is going to be very close to you folks in Austin, so you have to make sure you are in your safe spot. I know right now we do not have a tornado warning for Mower County, but anywhere in Mower County right now, I'm telling you, you should probably at least think about or head to your basement right now. We'll see if the Weather Service kicks up a new tornado warning. We do have the severe thunderstorm warning that continues, but we have information that says from the National Weather Service, weather spotters have reported a couple of funnel clouds, and we'll see maybe if we can get some of our reporters or anyone, maybe producers, looking on Twitter to see if there's anything. If you type in on Twitter MNWX, we should be able to see if there's any funnel cloud pictures on Twitter, guys, if we can do that in the behind the scenes. Besides the tornado warning, I mentioned the severe thunderstorm warning. This is for a good chunk of Dodge and Mower County. So I'll zoom out so you can see the whole thing. I mean, it's for most of the county here. So most of Mower County, you don't have a severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm not telling you to do this, but to say if you would look outside of the northwest, you would likely see some towering clouds. You're probably going to see some darkness. You might see some lightning. There's a lot of lightning embedded with this storm. So here's the latest update that we got about 10 minutes ago. A severe thunderstorm warning issued for Mower County in southeastern Minnesota, southwestern Dodge County in southeastern Minnesota. This is going to run until 5:45. So another 41 minutes left. Again, the storm is near Brownsville, or this part of the storm now is 9 miles north of Austin. So there are several different storms that we are looking at right now. Law enforcement reported a nickel-size hail, or at least nickel-size hail, not nickel-size hail, it's plural, near Waseca, and even a brief tornado, it sounds like, around 4 o'clock. Let's see, a brief tornado touchdown near Allensdale around 4:30. So that's the first I'm hearing of that. Law enforcement looks like they were talking about a brief tornado in Ellensville. Let's see if we can get any information on that, guys, behind the scenes. The severe thunderstorm warning is near Brownsdale, Grand Meadow, Adams, Leroy. These are going to run between 5 and 5:30. I'll take off the warnings right now. Let's put a track on this to see which way the strongest part of the storm is going to go. I'm going to put a cone-shaped. We're going to go all the way like this. So let's put this here. I'm going to walk up to the wall so we can see that. Here's the track. So the worst part of the storm right now, again, you can pretty much see it's right on the edge currently of Freeborn and Mower County. If it does track southeast, these are the communities that it will be hitting. Now, the reason why this cone gets larger is just the uncertainty. So Lansing and Austin, it's 5:04 right now. You have about 10 to 20 minutes to be able to head to shelter right now. This other storm is kind of following what the storm to the northeast is doing. We'll have to see what this storm does, because sometimes these southwestern storms will take steam away from the main storm unless this somehow gets seeped into the inflow notch here. And there's some more storms back to the northwest. So you can see again 540, Dexter, you're going to be in line with this storm. Grand Meadow, 554, and Riceville looks like about 620. If we can do this, guys, if we can, either the sign cam or RPU, if we can switch that looking west, and then at some point, okay, it looks like they're going to work on that. We'll have that pushing west, and we'll see if we can see this storm. We'll get to Sean McAday coming up in a second, too. I do want to look at hail, because, again, we sometimes forget about that, but hail, it looks to be an important piece to this storm, too. And it's likely going to be in that little purple area. I'll circle it so you can see it. It's right in here, that really solid purple magenta shape color there. That's probably going to be not only the strongest part of the storm, but that's going to be where the hail core is. So I'll take that off and we'll put the hail size on. So this storm is definitely, so what happened earlier, I want to show you what happened earlier. So it looked like it was weakening. Those hail, the purple and the blue will show between maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of hail. That's not severe. But look at it as it's, I mean, it looks like it's strengthened there. The last probably 2 minutes, it looks like maybe it weakened a bit. But these storms, I talk about this, they recycle. So every little piece of the environment that this storm goes through is going to be different. That's what's so challenging about weather, is it changes by the second, and the weather conditions change by inch. So that's why these storms fluctuate, and that's why they cycle. But this storm is at least producing probably 1 to 1.5 inch hail, 2-inch hail, just to the northeast right now of Newry. So 2-inch hail is close to about golf ball size hail. Just got to take a drink here. All right, let's look at that sign cam. So this is pointing southwest. Okay. So, I mean, we're still, goodness, probably 50 miles or so away from that storm here in Rochester. But you can kind of see on the bottom, there's a little bit of lowering. We have kind of what's going on in the atmosphere. We have a lot of spin. We have a lot of condensation in the lower parts of the atmosphere. We call that condensation, the LCL. We look for that for a good environment for tornadoes. And that's kind of the setup for today. It's just a marginal threat from the SPC. But when you have these kind of events, all it takes is one storm to fire up and then take up basically the whole party. And this is the storm that we're following. This is kind of the party, so to speak. Do we have Sean again? I'd like to talk to Sean and see what he's seeing, or at least take the vantage point of, we don't have Sean yet. Okay. When we get Sean back up, let's see if we can either talk to him, or let's see if we can see his view. So here's that storm. I better go back and put the warning back on. So I believe we have another 7 minutes left of the tornado warning. And it's just that little box, that little polygon area. We'll zoom in as far as we can go. And it looks like the only main city or community in that little section right now is Newry and Corning. So there's a lot of different storms going on here. So looks like we have, let's see what's going on here. I can already hear, I can hear the sirens going on in our newsroom, so I'm wondering if there's a new warning. We're going to see if there's a new warning here. Looks like still we have the severe thunderstorm warning for 5:45. That's the 2 we have currently. We'll see if anything else pops up. But it looks like currently just the 2. There might be an update here. Let me see if there's an update. No update from that one. Let's see if there's an update from the tornado warning. Let's see here. Yeah, we're not seeing anything from Olmsted. We'll see what that new warning is, but I want to focus in on right now Mower County, because it looks like at some point here, probably in the next 5 minutes, if they are going to produce or at least extend this tornado warning, it would be in parts of Mower County. This is the storm. If we see any rotation, it's going to be probably in this spot near Lansing. I'll point this out. It's either going to be in this spot or it's going to be in this spot. So these are the two locations that we could be talking about the potential for that rotation while we're on air for that tornado warning. Because if you look back in the tornado warning section, it could be in the southeastern part of that polygon. Let's confirm. We'll go back to storm relative velocity. There's a pretty good area of rotation. I'm going to take off. There's actually really good rotation here. So I'll jump to the wall so you can see this. So we have the greens and then we have the reds again close together. That couplet, when you get them tightly wound like that, that's the rotation that we look for. This is going to be just east of Corning, right along Minnesota 251, and it looks like it's just west right now of 218. So if this storm continues to track to the southeast, Lansing, you are right in the middle. I think you're going to be, if this storm is not on top of you right now, it's going to be in the next couple of minutes. So Corning and Lansing and parts of course, Freeborn and also Mower County, you're going to have to take shelter here. Okay, let's go to Sean's picture then. We don't have KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. We don't have him to listen to, but we do have his shot. Looks like he's going through rain. This is through I-90. Looks like he's going through that part of I-90, I believe, east of Austin still. But if you know anything about weather, you can see some of the, not the lower clouds, but the upper clouds, those white puffy ones that are just above the main. That is the, I think, overshooting top, that anvil part of the storm. And that's a good sign that there's some really good, really strong updrafts producing some hail, and there could be some rotation in there as well. Let's go back, and I want to look at the storm relative velocity. Again, here's the new couplet still showing up. I mean, this is, if there's a tornado or there's rotation, it's going to be right in this spot. Continues to shove southeast. And this is, again, this is the intersection right now of 218 and Highway 251. I mean, it's just east right now, just east of Corning. And if there's a tornado or if there is rotation, this is going to be near Lansing. So obviously we're going to keep a very close eye on this as this tracks to the southeast. 3 more minutes left of that tornado warning. If we do not have a tornado warning, we will start the broadcast. But as things are looking right now, we'll see if this gets extended. Last time, there's a couple of minutes, and the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities went ahead and jumped on and put on a tornado warning. But technically, I believe Mower County is through La Crosse, so they're probably deciding what they're going to do here, if it is going to be another tornado warning or if this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning. But that severe thunderstorm warning still continues. We'll put the radar back on so you can see. It still looks like a pretty mean storm. So if you can picture, and you guys probably laugh at me about this, but I call these supercells, I call it the screaming eagle. I'll visualize this. You can see the eye, and you can see the beak, right? The eye is where the hail is. That's the hail core. Call that the bear's cage. You don't, if you're ever chasing, that's the area you do not want to be in because there's very, very strong winds and there's a lot of hail, and it's right in the spot that could be producing at least 2-inch hail. And then where that beak comes down, that is the potential where that tornado could be taking place. So again, that another minute, that's going to be allowed to expire, and we'll see if the Weather Service pushes another tornado warning. But we have another minute left of this one. That's the storm. So Lansing, and right now even Austin, there's another thunderstorm right on top of you basically, and you can see this one is strengthening too with the different colors of orange and red and magenta. So there's going to be some hail. Anytime there's hail and you have hail at least 1 inch or even 2 inches, you're talking about some very, very strong winds embedded in here as well. Kind of a funky looking storm considering how this is positioned. So it doesn't look like we have, I'm going to let this sit for a little while. We'll stay on for probably another couple minutes, but we could possibly, if we do not have another tornado warning, we're going to be able to jump on and we could do some news, guys. So we'll watch this, see what happens here. Still no tornado warning, so that's some good news. Let's look at both of these. We have 3 different cells in our area. We'll regroup. We've been on for about a half an hour now. We'll look at the main one that was producing a possible tornado. This looks like it's pushing through Lansing. These are the communities that eventually it will impact. Red Rock, Nickelville, And then another one developing. This one, strongest part of this storm is just west right now of Austin. And this is almost looking like it's trying to turn into a supercell. And that's where Sean is going. So Sean might be in this area of 90. I'm assuming he's between Dexter and Austin. I could be wrong, but I think he's in this area. So he has a pretty good vantage point of these storms. And then we have the one that's just north right now. This one is looking a little mean too. Same location that it went through Steele and parts of Osceola counties. This is going to go through Blooming Prairie possibly in the next 20 minutes or so. And it looks like that's it. I'm going to wait, guys, I'm going to wait until about 5:20. If we don't have a new tornado warning, do we want to start the news or do we want to go to, okay, so we'll go to break. Okay, so if we do not have a tornado warning at 5:20, we are going to go to break and we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of news. But I'll recap again. We had a tornado warning issued. This is all the way back towards Mankato. Same thunderstorm produced funnel clouds. The potential was there in Ellensdale of a possible brief tornado. We don't have confirmation on that. We'll look at that and we'll talk to the National Weather Service. But that tornado went from Mankato, or at least the tornado warning rather, and now through Mower County. And it looks like the storm is basically starting to, it almost looks like it's beginning to try to converge between the two here, between the storm just west of Dexter and the one storm that's almost on top of Austin. And if these do come together, what I am anticipating, these is probably going to try to recycle, redevelop, probably weaken a bit, and then maybe strengthen again as it does begin to pivot more south into the east. Looks like there's another light little cell. This is right along 65. And this is west of Deer Creek. Doesn't look like, and just north of Northwood right now. Might be some light rain showers right now currently, but it doesn't look like that one is severe. But it continues to watch these two. Two cells over Mower County running until 5:45, the severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to take off this. I'm going to look at the hail. Because the hail right now, if there's no tornado, the hail is the main concern. And it looks like just northeast of Corning. It looks like it's weakening. That's some good news. Some good news. It looks like that hail size has come down a bit, but still about 1.7, which is maybe half-dollar size hail, or at least I think that's what I'm thinking in terms of hail size. Sometimes the radar will overdo what the actual hail is. Sometimes it can pick up maybe 10,000 feet up, and it might evaporate or melt a little bit as it does move through warmer parts of the atmosphere. If we don't have that tornado warning, I think we're going to go to break here, guys. Yeah, we don't have the tornado warning. It's 5:19 right now. We're going to go to commercial break. We will come back. We'll have an update on weather, obviously, and we're going to do some news for the next 10 minutes. But again, no longer, we do not have a tornado warning for Freeborn County. We do have the severe thunderstorm warning that runs until 5:45 for the southwestern parts of Dodge County and Mower County. We'll have more news and weather when we come back.